International University of Japan, where the world gathers. With over 50 nations represented here, this is a truly diverse environment. But I promise you that there's universal truths among all of us, and 3 of which are particularly relevant to what I'm going to talk to you about today. The first of those universal truths: no good idea can take root without leadership. You can have the best idea in the world, but nobody can transform that idea into reality by him or herself, so leadership is always necessary. The second universal truth: no matter where you go in the world, you're going to encounter that most foul of beings, the bad boss. Bad bosses are everywhere. Now, sometimes bad bosses are from a failure of character, but more often than not, bad bosses are simply the product of bad leadership, which leads me to my third truth. Nobody wants to be a bad boss. Nobody wakes up in the morning, looks in the mirror, and says, I'm going to alienate all my people and ensure that we fail at all our objectives. No, bad bosses go to work thinking they're doing the right thing, but they simply miss the mark. The thing is, nobody gets a handbook that tells you exactly how to lead before you find yourself in a position to lead. I certainly didn't get one when I took over my first unit many, many years ago, and I didn't get one at any of the stages of my career where the number of subordinates got bigger, or the tasks got more difficult, or we started going all over the world and doing all these crazy things. The thing is, I was able to learn from my successes and my many failures, as well as the good and bad leaders around me, and I took copious notes over the years. And recently I distilled those notes down to basic tenets that I call my elementary rules of leadership. I did it because these are rules I never want to forget. I did it because these are lessons I want to share. Because the thing is, the world needs leaders to transform good ideas into real achievement. And I believe that if people could just follow these basic tenets, they can become good leaders. They can inspire others, and they can transform ideas into reality. So I want to share these rules with you. But I don't have time to share all of them, all the different successes and failures, all the different lessons I learned. So I had to think about which ones were most critical to meaningful and enduring success as a leader. And I whittled them down to 2. So without further ado, rule number 1. The most important thing in any organization is a soul based in pride. In his famous TED Talk, Simon Sinek said, start with why. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. They don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And I can't agree with that more. It's a great idea, but for leadership to work, I would add 2 components to that. Why is your team, and why are the members of that team essential for meeting that mission? So from a follower's perspective, the 3 questions then are why us, and why me? You see, when an organization has pride in its mission, and the individuals feel connected to that organization, and they feel pride in their respective roles within that mission, now you have the ingredients for an effective and motivated team. But how do you instill pride in an organization and its members? It seems like a tall order, right? Well, let me tell you how I did it with a weekly meeting, a hunk of fabric, and a piece of paper. Some years ago, I was deployed to Afghanistan to take over an aircraft maintenance unit. The job of the unit was to fix reconnaissance planes, the aircraft would take pictures and videos of what's going on the ground. Now when I showed up, my bosses told me, they said, Mike, the unit you're taking over is bottom of the barrel. It's full of low quality performers, they fail inspections, and they show no sign of improvement. But what none of those bosses told me was that the unit was in the dumps. There was no morale, there was no pride in what they were doing, in spite of the fact that the mission that they were contributing to was helping to save lives. They had every reason to be proud of that, but none of them felt it, and it played out in their motivation and effort. I knew I had to put that situation on its head. So the first thing I focused on, when Simon Sinek said the why, I focused on pride and mission. So I started doing a weekly meeting, which is tough when you have a unit that works 24/7, trying to find a time and place to bring everybody together is a challenge. But it was worth it because it gave me a chance to talk about the successes from the previous week. It gave me a chance to explain what the aircraft that they had fixed had been doing, such as supporting a successful hostage rescue, or spotting explosives before they could claim innocent lives. You see, up to that point, the members of the unit really didn't know what the aircraft that they had fixed had been doing. But now that they did, they could have the pride and mission, they had the pride and why. The second thing I did was I ordered unit patches for everyone, so patches that could be worn on the uniform. Now, I did this, let the members of the unit design the patch, And then at the earliest possible weekly meeting, my superintendent and I patched every single person. And for some people, it may just seem like a hunk of fabric with a fancy design on it. But what it told the unit was that we had an identity. That it was an identity worth being proud of. And that when you wear that patch, you represent that identity. So make it count. It was all about pride in team, the why us. Finally, I started a weekly award program. So my leadership cadre and I got together once a week and we voted on the person who was most deserving of recognition. And at that weekly meeting, the roll call, I talked about that individual's achievements. I mentioned how he or she contributed to the mission. And then I presented the certificate. It was on basic cardstock paper that we, the leadership cadre and I, made up, printed out, and presented. Now I figured it would be a good way to recognize high achievers. But I could not anticipate just how much it meant to those people who received it. I couldn't anticipate just how excited people were to figure out who the next recipient would be, because they wanted to be the next one to receive it, or they wanted their buddy to be the next one to receive it. You see, for them, it wasn't just about the piece of paper. It was about what that paper represented. Pride itself, the why me. And then something amazing happened. In just a few weeks, that unit went from the bottom of the barrel to the cream of the crop. I didn't change out a bunch of personnel. I didn't institute a bunch of training programs. All it took was a little bit of pride to bring out the best in everyone. Because with pride comes purpose, with purpose comes dedication, with dedication comes excellence. Always work to instill pride in your organizations. Rule number 2. As a leader, you are an example in all situations in life. There's a quote from a famous American general that they teach military recruits in the U.S. George Patton once said, "You are always on parade." Now, he wasn't talking about parades with dancers and floats. He was talking about military parades where everybody gets dressed up in their Christmas uniforms and they march out in front of the generals and the crowds to show off professionalism and cohesion. Now, what Patton meant when he said you're always on parade was that as a leader, you always have eyes on you. No matter where you are or what you're doing, people will notice how you act, how you treat others, how you carry yourself, and the decisions you make. Now that's important for 2 reasons. How you act and the decisions you make, whether you're in the office or not, all affects trust and confidence in your ability to lead. Let me give you an example. Let's say you have a boss. Seems confident, capable, you tell yourself, okay, this is somebody I can follow. And then you have a work dinner out somewhere. And that same boss starts drinking too much. That same boss starts getting rowdy. That same boss starts yelling at the waitstaff. That same boss has to be talked out of the drive home that night, despite a number of drinks. Is that memory going to play out in the back of your mind the next time that boss makes a decision at work? My experience over the years tells me that for most people it will. And that's a relatively benign scenario. I've seen a lot worse in my career, and I think many of you have probably seen a lot worse too. And the thing is, people don't actually have to see the boss do it. People talk. They talk at the water cooler. They talk at the smoking area, or nowadays on social media. But the point is that what you do in the office or not, it all affects trust and confidence in you as a leader. The second point is that your behavior will start to shape the behavior of your organization. Now let's look at that in a negative way. The boss is doing it, so we can too. The boss leaves work early, so let's go. The boss parties all night on business trips, so game on. The boss yells at us, so why can't we yell at other people? But how will we look at it in the positive way? The boss is doing it, we should too. The boss takes time to make sure we're doing okay. It takes time to help us in our careers. We should do that for our subordinates too. The boss is taking it easy on the drinks tonight, guys. We should too. The boss stops people from telling inappropriate jokes at work. We need to speak up if we hear it too. The point is that true leadership starts with yourself. Your organization will start to reflect your work ethic, your behavior, your values, whether you like it or not. So it's up to you whether or not you set the right example. So never excuse yourself. Behave responsibly. And be the role model for others, whether at the office, on business trips, or at home. Now how does this connect to rule number 1? As a leader, you are the symbol for your organization, whether it's a small team, whether it's a whole company, or a nation. You cannot hope to instill pride in your organization and its mission if you cannot instill pride in you as the leader. So there you have it. 2 basic rules. The most important thing in any organization is a soul based in pride, and as a leader, you're an example in all situations in life. If you remember those basic tenets, you live by them, I promise you that you're well on your way to looking in the mirror at a great leader instead of a bad boss. Thanks.